Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by BlackRifleCoffee.com.
Whoa!
Matt, you seem scared by the clap. What happened?
Because I've had the clap before. It doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't. And you're in Vegas.
That was
scary.
You are in Vegas, and you're sitting next to a rock star. Who? Can you name the rock star who's on our show?
Evan
tonight?
Haver.
Wow.
Sorry,
Evan
he's
Haver.
my rock star.
I think you got a little
but
salty because Cover Matt got a little salty. You got a little salty.
No, not at all. We are fortunate to have one of our close friends, awesome rock star, and I stroke Phil's dick enough. Phil Labonte from All That Remains.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Man, I listened to you, since I was since I was in high school. As I Lay Dying and All That Remains are my two favorite metalcore bands. I was obsessed with them. Phil pulled me aside at the SHOT Show, I think 4 years ago or so, and was like, hey, man, kind of cool videos. And I was like, holy fucking shit, it's you. And we had and it's been friendship since.
It was the fact that he liked guns, and I was like, that's the kind of guy that I like.
That deep voice. It sounds like you've been drinking warm gin in a garage in July.
The only thing that I've been drinking today is water and Red Bull.
Really?
Right. Red Bull, yeah, no booze.
Let me ask you this: when somebody like Matt is a super fan of your music, is that strange, or do you have a ton of those where you're just like, man, I get hit up all the time by people?
For me, it's still awkward. You know, I mean,
gotta be right.
Because
why is it awkward?
Well, I mean, me and Matt have kissed. So Matt,
we have.
There was a gay chicken.
God damn.
There was a gay chicken.
There was.
We played gay chicken.
That was the gay. I forgot it was you. We were trying to.
Dakota. And
yeah, it's Evan.
And there's Evan, and then there's one more.
Wait, whoa, God, I've kissed a lot of dudes.
From LA, Matthew Gonzalez.
No, that doesn't count, though. That was gay chicken. He just tried to kiss me, and we almost got in a fight over it.
All right, so
you didn't tell me about all these other gay chickens. Hold on.
Yeah,
you were the first,
Hold
Evan.
on.
You were the first.
Yeah.
I have not been in. This makes me super uncomfortable because I don't like it. I don't like it.
Matt, you're turning red right now.
I don't like it.
You were supposed to be Evan's first kiss, and that was
I thought it was the only two. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was the only.
First and only.
You know,
That's the common.
I'm sorry, Evan.
thing.
You're the only one that he hasn't got a tattoo after.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Do you have an All That Remains tattoo?
I'm the gayest straight guy I know. I have a gay chick, and I have Dakota Meyer's fucking initials on me. He has mine too, so it's okay.
that counts.
Can I ask? I know we have an important guest, but why is that? Why do you guys have each other's initials on you?
We were in Peter Sotero.
Story.
Yeah.
Peter Sotero, who is my old tattoo artist in my whole entire back, lived in El Paso. So Jared, Rocco, and I would always go over and get hammered at his house and
he always
tattoo
had fresh
and
beer.
Yeah, he craft brewed his own beer. Good times. So
own.
Dakota was in town, and Dakota looks at me like, "Hi, man. You tattoo my fucking initials, I'll tattoo yours." And that's my I'm Southern, but Dakota, we love you to death.
Classic Dakota, though. Let's be honest.
Dakota's
That's a great Dakota.
He's a fucking beast, awesome guy. He called me today. But then I was like, yes, of course. Because
Wait, he called you today? He called you today?
Huh?
Called me today.
He called me today.
Was he at the range?
He was just catching
Hey,
up.
He's
just
Who did
catching
he call
up.
first?
Probably me.
There it is.
Yeah, it transpired in a couple of beers, and I don't think Dakota was drinking, but of course I was. And then we got some tattoos.
Look at that. But each other's initials is something special.
And then
sometimes you want to slip into those
kissed.
DMs.
Oh, shit.
Dakota Myers,
damn,
bro.
son.
Yeah.
Damn, son. Man, what if the relationship goes south, though? Then you got Dakota Myers tattooed on you.
Then I think it's better.
Yeah.
Personally.
I like a little turmoil in my relationship.
Phil, do you have any tattoos?
I have a couple, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Anybody that you've regretted?
Not really.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. You lying son of a bitch.
No, but I don't have anything that represents another person though. So there's no.
I got to learn from you, bro.
I mean,
exactly.
Well, I do have one that represents another person, but it was my dad, and he passed away like 20 years ago. So it's like,
well, that's epic though.
Wow. But
that's a cool
did you get it before or after he passed away?
I got it after he passed away.
Okay. Because if it was before, then you would killed him. So. No, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Because we all have tattoos we regret. I have Pangea on me, and a lot of people don't believe in it. Or flat Earth is on my other shoulder.
Do you really have that?
No.
I
Pangea with the continents were one? No, I don't have that.
No, I was hoping for the flat Earth one, honestly.
No,
I'm not gonna lie.
I love the flat Earth stories.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of
You need that.
I kind of
Like the rabbit. Just
a
what is that? Flat Earth?
Flat Earth. It's flat Earth is what it is. Pangea.
It's flat Earth, dog. That's what that is.
That's 80 million years worth of pain is what that is.
Flat Earth is the most fun conspiracy theory out there.
I love
it's
it.
super legit. It's like a super fun conspiracy.
Wait,
it's
are
like,
you
what
being
the fuck?
serious
Get
or
out of
not
here.
serious?
No, it's like there's a whole fucking subculture of people out there who believe in this
huge.
shit.
But which way do you lean?
Oh, geez, are you kidding me? Come on, man.
What the fuck is
Come
wrong
on, you
with
at least
you?
have to say it.
We've experienced
Earth
this
isn't a
like
perfect
SR-71s.
The Earth isn't a perfect sphere, but we know that it's somewhat round. And we know there's a fucking galaxy. And
it's more round than flat.
Things.
We can all
Like
we
it's
can
like,
get on that
geez,
train.
Louise, man,
So
you
the-
motherfuckers are dumb.
No,
but
It's not even
Just
dumb.
dumb
It's
as
just,
fuck.
they're so stupid. They're so obsessed with
but-
being original. That's what it is. It's not. They don't really. None of them really
No,
believe this.
but
It's
in
just,
order
I
to
wanna have
buy
attention.
into
Right.
this, in order to even buy into this, you have to accept that like there is
You're
no
stupid.
orbit.
Yeah.
So like, how are you fucking
So the
like making
entire
even
Y
logical
code,
conclusions? We're talking
fucking
about
GPS satellites that exist
We're-
that navigate the same people on
it's
their
so
phone.
crazy.
Let's just
It's
go with
so
sunrise,
crazy.
sunset. I mean, that's easy enough to know the Earth's
crazy.
orbit.
Sunrise,
and
sunset.
Phil's got something.
No,
I feel.
it's just the way all the conspiracy stuff that I've heard. They have so many stories to explain things that are obviously that are easily explained by science and were easily explained by science years and years and years ago. But they're still holding on to it. So I think it's a lot of fun to listen to them.
Yeah, those stories are like me telling my ex-girlfriend I got chlamydia from a fucking toilet seat. Like it's completely a lie.
Yeah.
I fucking cheated on you.
I believe
the
you,
Earth
though.
is round. You know what I'm saying? Come on, dude.
Earth is round.
But I will say this: out of our group, if there's somebody who believes in conspiracies more than everyone else, it would be you. You would be the guy out of
Hey,
out
me,
of,
kid,
out of all of our best
Conspiracies.
friends.
I would not say Evan has ever fallen into a conspiracy. He just
Not a
problem solves
conspiracy.
situations and goes, "This is the most likely thing that
Yeah.
happened because I've experienced this in
mean,
person."
Man landing on the moon. Go.
I like this shake of the whiskey cup. Maybe I need more to get into this.
Maybe I need emotions. I enjoy a good conspiracy.
Yes,
like I
yes.
enjoy it. So I think
fun.
it's a false statement when you say, "Okay, I believe more."
You're right. You're right.
You
entertain more.
truly
You entertain more.
enjoy
Yes,
a
yes.
fucking fantastic tale. And most conspiracies, like people have to understand, like I don't read fiction. Like I'm not into it. I love reading conspiracy theories because that's my version of fiction. I love it because what people come up with is fucking fantastic. And
You
you're
would
like,
never even think
oh
that.
my God, we got alien
Exactly.
technology at Area 51, and you got all this fucking, we didn't land on the moon. That's a really good one. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's so many out there, especially around the government, that are fucking fantastic. And you're like, how did these people come up with this, right?
Because they've never worked for the government.
But
Yeah.
but they've never worked for the government, and they don't understand how fucking incompetent
And
it is.
how fucked
Yeah.
up they
and they
are.
can't like the government is
Jade
a
Helm.
big leaky ship,
Yes.
motherfuckers. It is not
a
an
ship-
airtight.
It is a ship that
airtight
doesn't
instrument.
float. It just has constant airflow.
It's no.
being pumped
There,
into
there's
it
just
that somehow
people.
keeps the
People.
water out.
There's just people in the government constantly bailing out the water that is filling up in the boat
Yes,
that's
there's
leaking all the time
so
as
many
well.
that are just bucketing
There's so much
constantly.
information that comes out of the United States government. I'm seriously concerned that they can even keep like envelopes around without them fucking walking.
Dude, and this comes back to any person I've ever met that legitimately believes 9/11 was a conspiracy. I go,
Dumb as
the
fuck.
whole thing that happened with Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton was a secret for all of 12 minutes.
Right.
You really think everybody that was involved in covering up 9/11 hasn't wrote a book or been on TV yet?
Well, plot
But
twist.
I w-
Everybody doesn't know that Hillary's a massive lesbian that fucking bull dykes every fucking day. So there's that. Somehow we fucking hit
Scissor
that.
the
Yeah.
timbers, buddy.
Yeah,
She,
I mean, she
scissors-
definitely is.
She scissors
Scissor
more than a
sisters.
fucking
Oh, yeah.
department craft store, dude.
yeah, the
Come on.
Pussy Wrangler.
Yeah.
They got Pussy
boy.
Pussy
Wranglers.
Wrangler.
The old pussy wrangler.
Yeah.
Phil, you were
I will-
shaking your head,
I
Phil.
will say this.
You were in awe right now.
Yeah, the
Phil
whole-
voted
the-
for Hillary, so we
Did
don't
you
have to
really?
do that.
Phil, you Hillary voting son of a bitch.
That
Did you
did
really?
not happen. Anyone that follows me on the internet knows that didn't happen.
He's the chief operating officer of the Clinton Foundation.
Everyone, welcome Phil Labonte.
I mean,
Exactly.
I have a nice
Exactly.
car, but I'm sure that my car would be nicer if I had that job title. No, it's just he brought up Hillary Clinton. Clinton doing lesbian stuff, and I'm far too fond of lesbians to think of Hillary Clinton in that.
That
position.
is true. It's like
that's so
she's a
true.
disgrace to being a lesbian, and I know some
'Cause
people
you won't
get mad
even
at
admit
that,
it.
but like when you see two chicks make out, you're like, man, this is fucking rad. They're two beautiful fucking bodies
something that I can get
colliding
behind.
in an
I'm in
orgasmic
this.
fucking
Yeah.
meteor shower.
Oh,
of
you're doing
fucking
something
love.
that I would totally do. Oh, and you're doing something that I would totally do too. You know?
I like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But then Hillary is just kind of like, I want to vomit.
And nobody's doing anything that I would ever do.
No, ever in a million years. And it's ass
I feel like she
season.
has lots of chin hairs too. Like I haven't looked at girls' clothes. But, like I feel like
I bet you're right.
she has a PR campaign that goes in there and plucks the chin hairs. Like she's relaxed. It's
God, I can't. Yeah, I can't.
like, yeah, I'm good.
She's
Can't
the one that
entertain it.
like has a stopwatch for how long you're eating her out. You know,
Oh,
like
boy.
it beeps and she goes, "All right, done." And you're like, "All right, I'm out."
You know,
I just
Am I
swallowed
promoted yet?
swallowed that
Am I
meal.
promoted
Yeah,
yet?
chewed that meal.
I didn't
that you
think
just,
that-
I feel like I
served.
just had like I drank mercury.
I didn't think
Like,
that the concept
it's
could
metallic,
just
it's
be
disgusting.
less attractive.
I know. Look, we have
it's
some
less sexy.
We
after
have some
you
sponsors who
said
pay for
that.
this show.
You're gonna eat
There's
Hillary
only-
out.
Oh,
You
God.
gotta do it on a ghost bed.
Yeah, exactly. We have 4 sponsors left. Some might say that's all that remains. Nailed it. Had to.
We just
First and foremost is BlackRifleCoffee.com. Evan Haver, they are our chief sponsor of 2018.
Black Rifle Coffee is a
Premium roast to order
coffee company.
They got K-Cups. They got bags.
I don't know if I can do that anymore. 'cause,
No, Just
you know.
Black, Caffeinated as Fuck are my 2 favorites. What I tell people a lot of times is they're $4 cheaper than Costco. So you can get the shit shipped to your house, delivered on the exact day, or you can drive out
Or
to
how
the
about this?
fucking
Russ?
Costco.
Let's not talk about product. Evan, why don't you just rope us in on a little bit of the mission of Black Rifle Coffee and what the fuck we're going to do in 2018 and the amazing strides forward.
Yes,
we're
we
gonna
are at SHOT Show 2018. Evan Haver,
we
drill us.
are. So, Black Rifle Coffee, a lot of people don't understand. 3 years ago, we started this. I started this in my garage. Today, we employ over 110 people. Next year, we're going to hire over 50 people in 8 months in the great state of Texas and San Antonio. We've got a ton of amazing things that we do. Most of that is all around supporting the subculture, the veteran law enforcement and firefighters, the civil servants that serve us every day. Black Rifle Coffee is founded on the principles that a company can be a benefit to society, and you can drink your passion every day. Not only coffee, firearms, the Constitution, veterans, veteran-related causes, law enforcement, firefighters. So everything that we do, it's about the passion that you live each and every day that you're on the earth. So Black Rifle Coffee, if you love things like great coffee and supporting what we feel are the most important segments of society, Black Rifle Coffee is a coffee company for you.
We should make a new slogan where it's like Black Rifle Coffee. We're not pussies, but we fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you're a girl, we don't care.
Black
Fuck
Rifle
those pussies. As long as
Coffee.
you're not the Hillary thing. It's
Grab
super
life by the
gross.
beans.
Yeah.
I love
Grab
that.
life
Grab
by the
life by the beans.
I like it.
No, but seriously, since we're
BlackRifleCoffee.com.
the premium sponsor, we're just going to run with this for a little bit.
He's running for it. He's running with it.
Drinkin
Promo
Bros for
code.
20% off.
Yeah.
One-time use.
Join the subscription of the month club. We all have it, including myself. I always tell people this all the time. Just because we're friends, I still order your fucking coffee because it's better and it's cheaper than everybody
the
else's.
Coffee Club is the way to go because ultimately, like you get free shipping and you're saving probably per cart $8 per price because if you
Yes.
want USPS and FedEx and all that in their zonage, it's a massive thing. So if the Coffee Club, we actually lose money on the Coffee Club, but it's our way of kind of providing quality product to people and then obviously creating a lot of value with them. So yeah, fuck it.
Fuck
Black
it.
Coffee.
BlackRifleCoffee.com, promo code Drinkin Bros, 20% off. Join the club. Next up, we got StrikeForceEnergy.com. That's I'm on Strikeforce. I'm on Strikeforce. I'm on Strikeforce.
Ring, 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 ring.
We have StrikeForceEnergy.com just brought in Crispy.
Hold on, is that
Crispy-
weird?
Crispy
I had a
rocked
brown
in.
person kiss me. I thought my wife showed up. I got super excited.
Wow.
But you're a close
no.
second, Crispy. You're a close
Gosh.
second. Come here, buddy. God damn, I tell
Keep
you
it
what.
brown.
Keep it brown, bro.
Who talks like that? Last time I had a,
Omar
I had a
Abia,
brown
if you don't
person because
follow
I
him,
was
you
in
should.
Jamaica and she braided my hair and she goes, "You're good to go. I love you." Two kisses on the forehead and then boom, off with my 40. I love it. My $40. Strikeforce Energy is the premier energy drink in the biz. 4 amazing flavors: original, lemon, orange. Make America grape again. They've also got a 750 milliliter bottle that sits on your bar top or countertop. You can just boom, pop a couple squirts in, and motherfucking go. Go to StrikeForceEnergy.com. They got a subscription month club as well, and the promo code is Drinkin Bros for 20% off, and they ship everywhere in the entire world. Next up, we got Sig Sauer, Matt Best. These are your faves.
Jared
Tell
Taylor.
us about it.
What?
What?
Oh, what's it mean?
Oh, what?
So I like to bring people in on this one. So Phil, do you like Sig at all?
Sig Sauer, yeah.
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 I mean, I've shot a few. I don't own any.
So on an audio show, Phil, you got to talk into that mic.
Yeah,
You're
I
a
know,
lead
right?
singer, for Christ's sakes.
I know.
Do you whisper into a bag? No,
No.
you're talking to the mic. I'm kidding. You shoot SIGs before?
I've shot SIGs before, but I've never
Great,
owned
aren't they?
one. They're all right.
You ever killed anybody with them?
No.
Wow.
No.
I've never killed someone with a Sig. That's
Really?
unfortunate. But I will say, if I get a stateside kill, it probably will be the Sig because I'm 90% of the time carrying a Sig. So.
How much, Evan and Matt, you two in particular, because you guys are the biggest gun fanatics I know, just fans, like just genuine fans. If on a scale of, I don't know, 1 to 10, a stateside kill, if somebody walked in, how often do you think about that and pray
Every
for
single
it?
day, man. That's like I'm a weird
knew it.
fuck, and I think everybody here is. I know Phil
Wake
is
up
well.
praying
Like
for
I'm
his
weird.
Conus kill.
You're just
Yeah,
hoping.
dude. Like
You're just hoping.
I'm like my kill death ratio is pretty legit. Overseas, I'm 0 and 0 stateside, and I don't like that. You know, I need at least 1 and 0.
One, right?
Because if you're in Call of Duty, you get that 1 kill, 1 and 0. Dude, you're 100% success rate, right? So I kind of need that stateside, but
Just to make you feel alive inside.
yeah, just a little bit. And I either carry a Sig or a Glock 100% of the time. So
Glock.
How much
I like
do you
the
think about
Glocks.
Evan Hafer, how much do you think about it? Like, hey, God, I wish somebody would today. Like, you've had a shit day at Black Rifle.
No, you
I don't
wish that.
No,
No?
I don't.
I
think
do. I think about that shit all the time.
I think about the shitheads.
Yes.
I don't think about it very often. I would say probably. How often do you think about sex? Like every 8 seconds?
Yeah, every second.
Yeah. So I only.
So the same.
I don't
The
know.
same, yeah.
It's like 16 every 16 seconds, roughly.
Yes.
Yes. No, I mean, I think about it every day, 5-6 days, or 5-6 times a day, typically.
Yep.
Like specifically when I'm in points of vulnerability where I know
Yes.
that I'll have the
The
advantage.
vulnerability.
Where I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna. Like if somebody fucking tries to mug me here, I'm gonna fucking smoke them.
I've
I'm
created
like,
a really shitty
man.
construct in my own head where
Yeah.
if I go out, like I don't have a pistol. Like being in Vegas, thankfully, I have a local friend that gave me a pistol.
Sure.
But the first 2 days here, I was like not stoked because, and this is coming from a guy like 220 pounds. I can fight. I'm down
But
to bet.
you feel panicked, right? Like you don't
No,
have.
no, it's not panic.
No,
Fuck
but I mean, like not having something on you, like
It's noticeable. Like I mean,
Yes.
when I'm at home, I carry, and when I'm on tour, if I'm in a place where I can carry, I can I'll pull it out. But otherwise, I got to keep it locked up. And it's something that
you notice and you think about it, right?
Well, yeah, because
And
you
he's a
have-
lot bigger than me.
So you
Oh, a lot
you
bigger, yeah.
reapproach every different scenario, and this is what I go through my head because I'm like, okay, I can fuck this dude up, but you put a midget with a knife or a gun, like that dude is gonna smoke show me. I don't care if you're fucking Tim Kennedy. You can't close that gap. You just can't do it. It's real life. It doesn't exist that way. So like, Tim Kennedy's super hot.
Yeah.
No, but like you can't. And so like when you don't have a firearm, it weighs on me quite often, and that's not a fan.
I
Not a
will
fan of that.
typically. So this is how it's built into my life. I will typically dress in a circumstance in which I think people will feel like they can take advantage of me.
Yes.
So
And
I
then you
can
have a
kill
gun.
them.
Yeah.
Like that's where I go. Like every day where I'm like
Sure.
stepping out the door, I look in the mirror and I think, do I look like a fucking pussy today?
Evan,
Like,
now you
yeah,
have-
perfect.
yeah,
I do.
yeah.
Fuck yeah, I do.
Evan,
Let
now you
somebody
have to
try.
stop.
Do I feel
Good
like I
job.
could be dominated
You have to
today?
And I'm
stop
like,
doing
I'm
that,
gonna grab
Evan.
these. I'm
Now
gonna
you
grab
have to
these
stop doing
glasses.
that.
Some dude is gonna go, this four-eyed fuck.
This will
And-
bite me in the ass
And
in a
it's
fucking
gonna
courtroom
fuck,
one
I'm gonna
day.
Smoke
Yeah,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
he'll have
all
no
bad.
idea.
This
He's
is
like,
all,
this mother,
all
do I
terrible.
look a little bit? Do I look like I might have some cash on me? And do I look like I just might be a little bit of a pussy?
Yes.
and then somebody's gonna make that decision someday,
and they're gonna make that
and
mistake.
and I'm gonna hear the pro timer go off in my mind that I've been waiting for all my life. I've been waiting for this pro timer to go off all my life.
You'll reholster.
I have
the only man to
intentionally-
kill a
I mean,
guy
hold on, I'm
in
not
a
done.
Publix.
No, I'm gonna-
I have
You'll
intentionally
reholster.
sought out horrible ATMs, bad gas stations. I am the fucking worst person on the goddamn planet.
But Evan, tell the story of in Texas with the guy. That's
Yeah.
a good segue here.
So,
Jesus Christ.
No, what? It's
This
true.
has got to be the name of the episode.
So-
my
He's
my
white knuckling the mic.
So
He's like,
I'm in-
God, I want to.
And it always happens. So I'm in Texas, and Matt and I have talked about this a lot. Where I'm like, okay,
We have
like
dark
road
fantasies
rage,
about killing people.
road
Like,
rage
I want
is,
to kill
is,
bad people.
is a real thing.
Yes.
So
Oh, yeah.
I'm in Texas, and I'm driving around looking at property with my family. I have my 4-year-old, my 7-month-old, and my wife is sleeping because she's sick in the passenger seat. We're driving in like a Ford, SUV. I'm driving the speed limit. So some dude whips around to the right side of me and flips me off. But I don't know the speed limit. I'm not from here.
Sure.
And I don't want to get a ticket because I got my whole family in the car.
Absolutely.
I don't wanna get, pulled over.
7-month-old,
Family
of
4, yes.
4-year-old.
And
Yes.
two,
Come on.
I'm not from here. So the dude flips me off. I flip him off back because I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. You know what I mean? Then he slows down and he's trying to get me to turn around. And so like I'm kind of escalating the situation. So, and then I'm like, yeah, pull over. So I pulled around and flipped a Yui and like drove away. And he had to keep going and flip another fucking Yui. But I know, like, in this moment, and I'll talk about this in this circumstance, which is, I didn't have a gun with me. I'm in Texas because we'd flown down, right? But I also have my family in my car. I'm not going to kill somebody with my family in the car.
Sure.
Absolutely not. Like,
Yeah.
I've actually, when the two guys that were in the parking lot of Black Rifle Coffee, I stepped forward of the dumpster. The only thing that saved their life that day was I had actually, and this is the backstory to this. There were two guys that were like driving around in the back of Black Rifle Coffee. They'd gotten back there
In a panel van.
in a panel van, and I told them to leave. They got lippy with me. They stopped, and ultimately I stepped out of the truck, had my gun, stepped forward,
Get out of
And
the
then-
truck and you're getting dumped.
and I was like, "Hey, take one more step. That'll be the last step on your plan. That'll be the last breath you'll ever take, or something like that."
Was
So-
it with force? Let me ask you that.
No, Evan's
I'm
like
a very, I'm a
Evan's like this
conversationalist.
psychopathic guy where he's just like, "Hey, if you step one more time, you're gonna die."
Those are the guys you fear the most, by the way.
Oh
Those
no,
are the
like
guys you
it's
fear the
scary
most.
because it's like
Yeah.
you step forward one more time, I'll kill you. That's not Evan.
No.
He's just like, hey man, if you take one more step forward, your whole life ends right now. You're gonna bleed out probably. So
For the audience,
Yeah,
those are
he's-
the guys you fear the most.
And
I've seen it. A
I
few
had
times. I
hesitated,
love
so
it.
I was taking slack out of the trigger. I was going to dump this guy in the back portion of the parking lot.
Sure.
But then I was like, "Oh, my daughter can see me," so I actually stepped forward because we had this big dumpster, and the only thing that saved that guy's life that day was the fact that I had stepped forward so my daughter didn't see me kill a dude.
Wow.
And
what was his response? What happened with him?
He actually got back in the van, but the funny thing was he'd taken a step, and then I was like, "Oh, okay," and just as easy as like taking out the trash
Yeah.
or like turning the water
100%.
faucet on. I was
Yep.
like, "Oh wait, I got to step forward to kill this guy because I don't want my daughter to see me smoke this dude in the back of the Black Rifle Coffee." And ultimately, he was, you got two guys that are making a movement. Specifically, when I have a 3-year-old in the car at that time, my pregnant wife, I would have been completely justified. Like we're not talking about homicide. Like this is a justifiable, actually,
Right.
justifiable act.
Very justified.
So,
Yeah.
but however, fast forward in Texas, Matt and I were talking about this. I'm like, man, these guys with road rage, they really don't quite understand what they're doing.
like the caliber
Like,
of
they-
person that you
like
can
they-
actually
like-
be
like
in
associated
the
with.
moments, and you don't think like, hey, the guy that I'm yelling at or honking at could be a natural born killer, like one
Exactly.
of you two fucking guys.
I look like the guy. I'm driving my family. I've got nice
yeah.
glasses. I've got a vest on.
Well, even our investor
I
said
was
that was
Evan,
like,
Evan
looks good
is the guy from the Irish movie.
But boy, that's a lot.
Good.
That's a lot of them.
Fucking the one
Every movie about Boston.
Exactly.
Boston Irish. The one where the guy fucked it all up and
Departed.
no, other one.
Boy,
Good.
Either way,
good.
so I'm gonna get this point right. So like, Steve or our investor said this the other day, our business partner now. So he was like, "Man, who would fuck with you, Matt?" And I'm like, "Okay, that's cool in theory, right? Because I wear the part. Like I'm fucking 6'2", 220, have tattoos. There's a visible association with probably what I've done. When I look at Evan, you'd be like, this fucking nerd little dad fuck. You would never know he has a gun. And I mean this in the nicest way, bro, because like Evan will burn you down.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
Be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, fuck this
Yeah.
pussy. You want to fuck, and you'd be like, oh, God, I made a bad decision. I'm bleeding out in my life. So, but it's weird, and that's what the road rage, because we had this like long conversation about it where people have this like heightened perspective of life of where they think that they can do something awesome, and they're like, fuck you, pussy, and like yelling at his family when they're driving.
Yeah,
like,
it's
dude,
crazy.
like,
Yeah.
come on, man. And he's driving the speed limit with his family. And
Exactly.
you don't know what he's done, what he can do.
But
Just
leave it
alone,
that's
man. Leave it alone.
But that like you don't know, like dude, this guy probably would have done the same thing, like Tim Kennedy in the car with his family, or like Jeremy Horn.
You never know.
Jeremy Horn. It's like, man, you don't know who the fuck you're gonna gamble with,
Yeah.
man.
I feel like
there's
Jeremy Horn
so
would
many
just
guys.
catch like a punch to the face just
to do it.
Just for
Just to
fun.
do
He'd be
it,
like,
yeah.
hit me, bitch, and he'd be like, how's your knuckle feel, pussy? And then Jeremy would just kill him.
Or
and
like
you're
the guy
oh,
would step
God.
out with a bat, and Jeremy would be like, "Oh, this will be interesting. I truly appreciate this challenge, friend." Like
Thank you for
So
leveling the
movie
field. Kind
I was
of,
talking
friend.
about was Boondock Saints, but it was Revolver. The skinny guy with the glasses that just fucked everybody up in the movie Revolver.
I mean, I'm not a tough guy. I can
but
wield
you're- that-
wield a
but
pistol.
it's-
I can
but
wield
there-
a
but
pistol
there's-
relatively well.
He was just a normal looking dude with glasses that nobody suspected. That whole movie, you just smoked.
Dude, we
everybody.
wrote that. So Ross and I wrote that in the intro to our book, where I was just like, and I think it's a true definition of like the American warfighter, where people play the part, right? Like I look the part in the sense I have tattoos and I lift weights, right? But like every motherfucker at the barbecue, we wrote it in there.
Yeah.
It's like it's the dude at the barbecue. They go, man, that guy can grill a steak. That's the motherfucker you don't want to fuck with.
He will emasculate you real quick.
You'll never know. You'll never know. You think he's like, man, he's a little shorter. He's kind of skinny. Fuck that. I'm asleep. That's what those motherfuckers do to you.
Yes.
Like, and it's a brilliance of like the quiet professional and these awesome guys and everybody that's served a country in that capacity. It's just, you don't fucking know, so don't fuck with it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Don't fuck with
be a
these.
nice person, man. Because
Exactly.
You never know.
And somebody wrote into the
You never
podcast and they had it nailed down, I think. And I'll ask you this in a second, where they were like, man, I love the show, big fans. But if I wasn't fucking with one of you guys, it would probably be Evan. And he goes, because he seems like the type of guy that would hide in your closet for 18 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And then kill you. But after he sees your day with your family, your kids, your whole shit, and then come out and kill you, even though he's seen you have like 5. And I was
Evan
like,
is way more. Evan is way
you're
more
right.
methodical than any of us. I truly believe that. We're like all like fuck yeah, and like all of us. And Jared's the same way. Like Jared's a scrappy motherfucker. So are you.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
Evan's the guy that's like, no, I don't want any part of this. And then he scopes your house out. He's casing you.
Yeah, yes.
He knows.
Hey,
he
I
knows
think
when
I
you
know
drop
how
your
we
kids
get
off.
this fuckface.
Yeah.
He's gonna
You're
flirt
like, wait,
with
what?
the teacher.
I thought you told us not to
Yeah.
even talk about that for the last month.
He's gonna
Yeah.
flirt.
No, I've been
he's
watching.
gonna flirt with the teacher that's your second grade teacher's mathematician. He's like, oh wait, this guy Evan came in. He's cute, and like the kid's saying that to the parents, and then like psychological warfare. Then all of a sudden you wake up and your ass is fucked. You don't want that.
That's all you do. You wake up.
It is.
That's
And
fucked.
by the way, this is a roundabout segment for you should buy Sig.
Yeah.
We never finished. We never wrapped that baby up in the blanket after it came out of the vagina. Go to SigSauer.com. They have no promo code because they have the best ever. Last but not least,
Super
we
drunk.
have ghostbed.com/drinking bros. If you're going to kill somebody, kill them in a ghost bed. Because honestly, hey, Evan, I know you're going to drink, but Lincoln died in a bed. We can put pennies over his eyes in a ghost bed. Go to ghostbed.com/drinking bros. We all have the mattress.
We do.
Goddamn
and
comfortable
this
as
is a
shit.
perfect segue because we get Phil alone.
We
and
do.
We get a chitty chat with Phil.
We do. So, hey, go to ghostbed.com/drinking bros. Type in the promo code drinking bros for $50 off. You also get 2 free pillows. Now we have Phil to ourselves in our face, Las Vegas, Nevada. What are you doing in Las Vegas, by the way?
Can we
Shot
get
show.
let's get a little backstory. So,
Yes.
Phil, what have you done? Who are you?
My name is Phil Labonte. I sing for a band called All That Remains. We have been a band for 20 years this year.
20 years this year?
20 years this year.
Congratulations.
Nice, man.
2018.
Congratulations.
I started the band in 1998 is when I first started writing music for All That Remains, and so
Did you start as the singer or
Guitar player.
Guitar player, right?
Yep, yeah. I was singing for a band called Shadows Fall, which
Of course.
most
come on.
people.
You know, I know.
Well, I know you know. I know
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But
Shadows Fall is one of my favorite bands early
Yes.
on in the metalcore scene. I was like, and then when he told me that early on, I got a bigger boner. So go ahead.
yeah, so
Kind of
Shad,
fangirling.
Shad was one of the first bands that kind of started the New England new wave of New England metal and hardcore is kind of what they were calling it, I guess. New wave of American heavy metal. And so I was in that band for a couple of years, and I just wanted to play guitar again. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just start writing some riffs, because like the writing of riffs kind of was covered between John and Matt in Chad. So they were like, well, we have more riffs than we know what to do with. So I was like, well, all right. So I started doing my own thing, and then about 6 months after I started writing stuff, they asked me to leave, and so I just went and talked to the guy that was at the time.
Why did they ask you to leave?
Because Brian became available. Their singer, Brian Fair, was in a band called Overcast, and they were kind of like, they were like a really big deal around like the Northeast and stuff. So like so Overcast had Mike D, who's currently in Killswitch Engage, the bass player from Killswitch Engage. He was in that band, and Brian, they broke up, and so Brian became available, and the guys in Chad were big fans of Overcast and blah blah blah. So they were like, hey, we want to get this guy, and so I had already started writing stuff for All That Remains. So it was like, yeah, no big deal, because nothing had really taken off for anyone yet. So
sure,
Chad had some stuff going on, but nobody had like the record.
And
deal.
how old are you at this point?
I was 22, 23.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm 42 now.
Relatively new to the game. Stop. You look like you're 28 years old.
You know, I have a baby face.
Yeah.
And I like
you
it
take
like
care
that.
of yourself.
I
and
do,
that's nice.
you know. I moisturize some.
That's nice. Yeah, moisturizing is the key. A lot of
It's
people don't
important.
realize that. That
Stay out of
reverse
the sun.
cowgirl. A lot of people don't. Will never tell you that secret.
Yeah.
I like
never
it.
tell you
I
that
like
secret.
it. I like it. Yeah, yeah.
So at 22, where are you living? How is everything going?
Living with my parents at 22. Yeah, I was living with my parents.
And what do they say? Hey, bro, what the fuck are you gonna do?
I had a job, but it wasn't like a career, but it was an awesome job. I sold cell phones in the mall, and I tell you what, it is
Really?
still to this day the best job I've ever had.
What kind of cell
Regular
phones? You
job.
mind me asking?
They
No
were
way, it's
like
better
cell
than being
phones.
a rock star.
Well, no, I mean like regular job.
Okay,
That's not
okay.
because anytime you own your own thing, you don't feel like you're at work when you get up and plan your day and do your own thing. Sure, you might have to go to an office or whatever. There's stuff you don't feel like doing, but like the only time I ever was like, crap, it's like when I was working for someone else, doing that stuff for All That Remains, or doing,
Sure.
Or going to the gun shop or whatever. I don't feel like, that oppressive, I have to be here kind of deal, even though I have to be there sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're selling cell phones in the mall. We were right across from Victoria's Secret.
That's nice.
And it was just at the time.
I love it's
the mall. It's
no,
great.
yeah, Victoria's Secret. It's great train dicks.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a secret, right?
She's a secret, obviously.
Oh, I misread
yeah.
that.
There it is.
Super
There it
secret.
is.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
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 That was her secret.
That
Yeah,
was her
that's what I always
secret.
thought.
Everybody's
I
just training there.
I misgauged that.
And everyone was happier when it was a secret.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Now
what
she's
so what
running
so what
for
happens? You're working in the mall?
Senate.
Yeah, I'm working in the mall, and it was just at the time when like cell phones were just about affordable for everybody for the first time. Around late 2000 or late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, right around there, and I was making a bunch of money for a single dude working on commission. So it was a cool job, and it allowed me to still be in a band and still go play shows.
I just
and
like
still
you're a
tour.
rock star. You're talking about selling phones at a kiosk.
It was great.
It's so great. You're
It
like
was
the
great.
most influential band in fucking metalcore, yet you're talking about living in a fucking kiosk.
But
It was awesome.
Here's why this is important, because right now there's probably a bunch of listeners at home saying, "Fuck, how do I get to be the next Phil?" And then we're like, "Yo, I'm working in a cell phone place too," and you're
Yeah.
probably saying, "Dude, this is it.
This
is
That's
how you
exactly
fucking
how you start. It is, and nowadays, I mean, as much as I don't want to sound like I'm poo-pooing the idea, but it's a lot harder to get noticed. But when you get you have so many more options to get your stuff out there. So it's a weird contradiction. There's so much stuff that goes on the internet, that goes on YouTube,
SoundCloud.
that goes,
There's a lot of SoundCloud musicians
so
out
much
there.
stuff so many ways to get music out there, and so the competition is really, really, really fierce. But if something hits, it can go, you can
viral,
go viral,
and everybody can have
it's
a
huge.
catching.
Owl City, the first.
Owl City. Look at Gangnam
Essentially
Style.
made his
I know.
his
Whoopum
entire
Gangnam.
record in his bedroom.
Yeah,
I
And
love
then
Psy,
made-
by the way.
He was the
I
first
love
one that
Love him.
self-produced his record and went platinum.
Same.
Was
I could never do the dance, but I wanted to know how to do it.
Whoopum Gangnam.
I loved it.
Big fan
Open
of that.
Gangnam Style.
Big
Actually,
fan of that.
hey, by the way, Dave was the first person that I know that saw that video with under 100,000 views. We were at 26,000 when he sent it to me from his bedroom to mine. He goes,
Dave,
you got to see this Korean dude do this rap.
we're making you a plaque right now. It's gonna be at your house in less than 3 weeks.
It was right.
Super proud of you.
27,000 views. You sent it to me on YouTube. You have to watch this.
27,000.
Yeah.
27,000.
27,000.
Now it's got well over 1 billion.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. 3 billion, by the way. 3 billion. What was your first break as you went along after the cell phone industry? Because I'm sure you were great at it.
I just want to throw this in Phil's face was when Guitar Hero. I mean, I was already a fan, but then when what song got on Guitar Hero?
6.
Yeah, 6.
What year?
That was 2006.
That was
2006.
Yeah, 2006.
I know. I'm just saying.
That is a significant fast forward.
Huge fan of the band, and then someone was like, "Man, there's this song 6 you can't beat. It's the hardest level of the guitar." I'm like,
such a great
motherfucker!
idea.
I've known that band since I was a kid, and that's when I came there and I crushed it. By the way, on Guitar Hero, I'll send you the video
the
from
greatest.
Tikrit, Iraq.
Yeah, please
you know?
do. Please do.
That is really fast.
It's first
I
of all,
figure people real fast, for
playing
sure.
that song on Expert is not easy. On the game.
On Expert?
Yeah, on the game it's not easy.
Boy.
And I tell you, that was the
Even
that was the
their
best thing to happen
guitarist
for
can't
our-
play
our
it.
band.
He's like, Ollie tries to
yes.
play it, and he's
No, I get it. Ray Charles was blind though.
Ollie used to
let's not
practice
really,
it.
in the musician line. Let's really back it down.
For a minute,
back
we
it
would
down a little bit.
For
Stevie
a minute,
Wonder,
we would bring
Ray.
dudes onto the bus and let them play against Ollie.
Really?
Then we had to stop until Ollie practiced enough so that way he felt confident he could beat people.
Shut the
'cause he was
fuck
getting
up.
Beat. He was getting beat.
Wow.
And it wasn't a lot. He got beat like twice, and he's like, "All right, and he spent like 3 days just going for it on Guitar Hero, and then
was
then he
that
good
your
enough.
first big break? That Guitar Hero or
no.
That was the first thing that really got a lot of traction. We had a record deal. We had 3 records out at that point. So like our first record came out in 2002. Our second record came out in 2004. The record that we're talking about is a record called The Fall of Ideals that came out in 2006. So it was a huge thing. They told me that they're like, hey, we got you guys on Guitar Hero 2. It was one of the biggest video games, and we're like, this
Huge.
is awesome
Yeah.
to be on a video game
Yeah.
at all. That's great. What song are they doing? And This Calling was the single. And so I'm thinking, oh, that's cool. They're going to do This Calling. And they said, no, they're going to do 6. And I said, are you serious? They're doing the song that starts out with blast beats and screams, and it doesn't have any there's no catchy singing. And they're like, yeah, we're going, that's the one they want to do. And I'm like, okay, fine. It's great to be in a video game. I don't care. But to me, it didn't make sense. And then they made it the second hardest song on the game.
So it became
And
a
so
challenge.
kids were just going for it, just over and over, drilling the song
Now
into
this
their
becomes
head.
viral videos.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
over YouTube.
Yeah.
And
because
so
if you can do this
like
fucking
that
thing.
defined
Yeah.
my life. I'm a fanboy where it's like, and I hear this calling. Like, dude, that whole life. Yeah, you're the singer. You put that in there.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
on, damn, dude.
The
Dude,
one
that-
time you back away from the mic,
yeah.
you're singing your own song.
So one of the greatest memories I have of all of us was the night him and Ollie got into the argument of the perfect pitch. We were all at my
Yeah,
house.
we were.
And Ollie claimed that there is no way that you could pull a note to the T.
He was probably right, to the T.
saying that you could pull that out of thin air. And he gave you the song, and you was like, you went, I got this. You did like 3 practices, and you go, all right, here it is. And he hit the piano, and you hit your note, and you did it perfectly.
Did I? Well, I'm glad that I did. I don't remember this. I was drinking a lot at that time. And
Who wasn't? Who wasn't? We've all seen Behind the Music on VH1.
The lead guitarist of All That Remains is arguing with him in the house with us.
It was probably
about there is no possible way that a singer can pull the perfect pitch of a note out of thin air, saying he can start the song on the actual note that it was played.
Sure.
And Ollie was like, all right, go. And Ollie sat at the piano. He goes, I know exactly where the note begins on this song. You sing it. And he sits there in the kitchen. And he kind of like does like 3 mocks in his head. And then he throws it. And he did it, and Ollie hit the piano, and it was the exact.
I will say I don't know if, because I was a huge fan. I'll make a fangirl. of
It was
fucking All
pernicious.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But that album was just super cool because like they had just released their new album, and like we were getting more popular.
What year was this?
This is
2014.
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like the Greatest Generation and all of that, that was when all my tail slates of my videos were Phil's band, which was fucking awesome. Like, if you've been wondering, all that shit. So it was like we put the back end of everything on our videos, and it was like super cool. I don't know, synergy. I hate that word.
Synergistic.
It's a big word
It
these
just worked.
days. It's
Yeah.
a
It just worked.
buzzword. It's a buzzword
But
these
it was
days.
a cool time, man, because we were like promoting the brand, and then the band and everything. It's super fun.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
That's all you got.
That's all you need. It was a lot of fun.
That is all
It
you
was
need.
a fucking great
I'm
time.
emphasizing your opinion.
So Phil, what year did you quit the cell phone store saying, "Hey, I'm going to make enough off my band that I don't have to work here anymore"?
The last time I had to. You don't get to make that. That's not the way the decision goes.
It isn't.
You don't get to say I make enough money off the band now where I can quit the job.
Who makes that decision?
That decision is never an option. You don't get to say I can quit my jobs now because I'm making enough off the band. You quit your job because you have to go on tour to make so that way in the future you can make enough to be for the.
So that's a huge leap of faith, right?
Yeah, it is, and
Because you guys started what in a van?
yeah,
just
in
like everybody
2004
else?
is when
driving around in a van,
Yep.
and then you get to like
for $150
Winnebago.
Yeah.
And this is
then it's
when.
like, now it's tour bus.
Well, tour buses are nice. Tour buses are nice. Anything that you can get flat in is, in my opinion, acceptable. Like even the bandwagons that you see out there, we've been in those for like some of the shorter runs that we've done. Those are fine, because you can lay down flat and sleep and get a good night's sleep. If you can't get flat, if you're like in a van where you're kind of hunched over or whatever, that's a nightmare. But we did that for 5 or 6 years until we got into our first bus, and then. The buses. Once you're in a bus, it's all right. But
Game changer.
Yeah.
it is a game changer. It is.
you got to be proud at that moment.
Well,
we
it
got
feels
a bus.
good.
We got a
does.
bus.
The first time the first time that you have enough money to rent a bus and all the stuff that goes with it, because that's the biggest expense of touring is the actual vehicle.
Sure.
So once you can afford that, you're like, look at how big of a band we are.
Yeah.
We can afford this $1 million piece of equipment. And you feel good.
There's that
You
gutter
feel good.
voice, like
$1,000
a
a day. 30 grand for a month.
Yeah, it's about $1,000 a day when you figure in
The driver,
your driver and your
rental
fuel and maintenance.
Because
And they got to wash the
just
bus.
met him, and then I went to Washington to do drill, and then you were like, "Oh, here's Phil's number. Go to his show because he's playing up there." I had no idea at that point. I'd never been to a rock concert at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I remember when I went on the fucking. I apologize still to this day because when he played in El Paso, I walked up there and we're all drinking back in the bus and all of that, and then I came on stage and I was like, "Finish the whiskey!"
Oh, God.
And we
This
got
was 2 years after.
we got
Really?
fucking hammered. It was
There was a lot of drinking.
that was
a lot
so
of drinking.
Surprise, but not really. I'm winking at you
weird.
because I'm not really. Not really.
But there was this giant line for you guys' show, and then you were like, "No, just walk to the bus." And I'm like, looking at the line, and I'm like, I feel bad walking past all these. All right, fuck it. So I walk
You
up.
kind of got it.
now Bubbles
then
is a part of the band too.
Yeah,
you know,
Bubbles
he's
was
super
one
down
of the
there.
tour
From-
managers of that one.
He used to be in a band called Bury Your Dead.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then he played in a band called Devil Driver for a while.
Let me ask you, as a person, when did you feel like you had made it at least a little bit financially? That you were like, "Hey, I think this band thing is going to be a fucking living in the rest of my life."
Well, I mean, rest of your life's a long time, but the idea that I could actually pay the bills was probably about 2009, 2010 when I was like, all right,
So you're sitting on at least 8 steady years of hey, I'm a musician and nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm not going back selling cell phones anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would probably still go back to selling.
Look, if
stuff.
you were selling side
was a
gigs,
great
I get it. Yeah, I get it. Are you married now?
No.
No.
not
So
married.
what were you doing at the cell phone booth? Was that
do
was
you
a
mean?
pickup? That was a pickup booth, wasn't it?
Well, it was a job that it was a job that I could easily adjust my schedule so I could go play shows. Honestly,
Gotcha.
that was the way that retail works. It was easy to go ahead and be like, hey, I need this day and this
people
day
from
off.
that crew know you still today.
Yeah.
To
I
where they're
remember
like,
Joe
cell
Ringer.
phone crew?
"Fuck,
Yeah,
I was
Joe
letting
Ringer,
you
Jameson
go
Gaspar.
leave work
Yeah.
And now you are a fucking.
There are
rock
many
star.
people that have helped me in small ways along the way, and sometimes working on Tuesday instead of Friday helped me immeasurably. So
There you go. It's the grind, brother. I love that. I love that.
You have to appreciate every time someone gives you a little bit of help. You never know how much it's going to affect you, so you should be grateful anytime someone gives you a hand.
Those are
Sure.
fucking great words right there.
great.
I
You
love
know,
that.
exactly.
I fucking
That
love
is
that.
amazing.
It's true.
What was the big moment, the defining moment where you were like, hey, I think this might work out? Was there a song on the radio?
The first time that we had a song, see, there's so many small victories that we've had, like over the course of our career, because we did start out as such an aggressive underground style band, and
Sure.
we've done a bunch of different stuff since then. So
Because it's hard to break a band that is this aggressive.
yeah, and it was hard. I mean, it was hard in 2006 to get people to pay attention to us, even though we had just put out The Fall of Ideals, and we had stuff on a video game, and we had a song in the movie Saw. I think it was Saw 3. We were the second song on the credit list and stuff. And it was still hard to stick your head up and get the attention, especially for a band that was as arguably heavy as we were, and stuff that we were
You guys
releasing.
go
was
hard.
heavy.
You know what's
Pain.
funny? It's like
do.
in the metal world, it's like how our company is. Everybody says you're too heavy, but it's like if heavy works, it works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a need and a want for it, and there's a market for it. So it's like you have the industry people that are saying, "Man, you guys are a little too heavy." And I see that with a lot of new modern artists, where like they're changing their fucking platform and changing their kind of artistic approach to music to like really be a more largely acceptable band. But
And what's popular nowadays is it's interesting because like if you look at like the rock charts nowadays, not the active rock charts, but the regular rock charts, you've got like 21 Pilots, which is 2 guys, and like that's
Electronic.
They're,
Yeah,
they're 19
they're
short
not-
of 21
they are
Pilots.
not-
Exactly.
They are
Yeah.
not
They are.
fucking rock music.
but that's
Yeah.
that's the stuff that is on the rock charts, and there's not nearly as many active rock radio stations out there that are playing stuff like Five Finger.
Why
and
is that? Because it seems there's less rock bands.
Because people listen to things like
Hip hop.
podca-
By the way, so 2 weeks ago, according to the AP Press, hip hop is the most dominant music culture there is.
Yeah. Well, I think
Why
cities,
is that and not rock bands? It used to be rock bands.
I don't know. I don't know for sure. I think that urban areas, cities, and stuff like that have all been expanding over the past, 20 years or so when it comes to population. And
Females are obsessive over hip hop.
yeah, and
Like-
females can dance to it, and anywhere that girls go, guys follow because penises, and so
penises.
Yeah, penises.
penises follow women. They
Evan,
do.
what music do you listen to like on a weekly basis? Is it All That Remains? Is it rap? Like, just out of curiosity, you run a massive company, and I'm sure a lot of people ask, like, hey, what gets you going
Actually,
throughout
do
the
you-
day?
Do you
yeah, do you?
get to listen to music, or do you
No.
listen to music
Really?
at all?
I listen to a lot of Vivaldi actually, which is it's classical music.
Mhm.
But truly, it's only
why is that?
because-
Just out of curiosity.
It's a form of active meditation in a way that can calm myself, so I can think about something in a way that's more multidimensional.
Sure.
So I listen to metal when I go to the gym. Like when I go to the gym, I listen to it. If I'm not listening to a podcast, but most of the time I have podcasts that I have to listen to.
I do the same thing.
So I have to listen to podcasts, and then if I'm doing squats, then I'll do like whatever set of squats, and then I'll put something on that's something other than like Joe Rogan talking.
Right. Yeah.
Not that he's not a badass, but he just doesn't fire me up to squats.
It's fine, but if
You
you
liked my videos, so Joe Rogan, I love
but-
you.
but if you're doing 285 on squats, you don't want to hear about the molecular biology
Yeah.
of the. You're just like, oh, bro.
But I for the most part, it's strange actually. I've had to, because I've had a lot of stress, that I've had to actually seek music that calms me, and that I can actually sit down. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, not because Jocko, another podcast guy, not because Jocko tells me
Sure.
to, because I get up at 4 actually. So I get up at 4:30, and then I'll sit in my office for an hour, drink 2 cups of coffee typically before I go to the gym now. And I'll listen to classical music, and then I'll turn on something like audio. So I'm listening to somebody talk. So I've kind of got to warm up my day, man. Like I've got to transition into it where I talk so much and listen to people talk so
Right.
much that I have to be able to turn it on and kind of burn it down and for that 8 hours where my mind has to be engaged.
Sure.
And if I engage it too early, it just seems like it just doesn't work for the rest of the day.
All I listen to is when I go to the gym is podcasts, almost
Really?
Almost exclusively.
Really?
Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, who else?
Drinkin'
I think
Bros,
he's
Ross
great,
Patterson
yeah.
Revolution.
Yeah.
Oh, we get it. Launch
Yeah.
Code. Yeah. Yep.
Who else?
All three of those.
Who else do I listen to?
The last three, no, we get.
Commentary magazine.
No, I get it. You know what I find funny is when people say they listen to podcasts in the gym. To me, I maybe I don't like the gym enough, but like I want to listen to something heavy. I want to listen to metal, rap, like something that is really aggressive that gets me through it to the point where, like Matt, you want to kill somebody. Where you're just like, all right, great. I would love to kill somebody. Exactly.
Yeah.
So like. That's what I listen to going in. A podcast is a little difficult for me.
Yeah.
Vivaldi and all that shit is great. Studying, prepping for a meeting, everything like the classical, especially in the early morning, is fantastic. But in the hardcore aggressive workout, I'm looking for you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, cool.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Like I listen to you, or and that's the other thing. Not because you're here. I listen to you, or who's the other one? Asking Alexandria.
Yeah.
Yeah, you turned me on to that last week. Five Finger.
Those
Danny's
guys are sweet
awesome.
guys.
So,
You know,
and
those are the guys I listen to.
I'll resonate with Jared on this one. Is Sleeping Sirens' new album?
You guys
Fucking
love
awesome.
them. What's their story?
No,
by
I
the way?
don't. I don't necessarily. So, like, I'm a very methodical listener of music because I emotionally, wherever I'm at, I take music and make myself hyper emotional in a sense. So, like, when I work out, like Sleeping with Sirens now, that new album,
They have
it's
progressed
super-
so much
yeah.
from their original stuff to now.
but
like
for me, right? So
Yeah.
this is where it's at. It's like very self-reflecting music.
Right.
So I can work out. I still get like my pump, but then I'm really firing on all my cylinders, and I write in my phone, and then I'm like engaging with personal relationships that I normally wouldn't because I don't want to. So it's like for some reason I find music for me that like goes, hey man, you should probably reach out a little more, build these relationships, even though I don't want to. But I'm like sitting there texting when I fucking work out. I'm like, hey, it's been a really cool thing. So I like Sleeping with Sirens is my album right now, and I usually go through these weird fucking segmented things of music where a week I'll like brutalize an album back, front to back,
Over and over and over
front
again.
to back.
Yeah.
If you look like stuff,
same. I'm the
it's
same.
called like some weird brain problems, but I always do that, and then I find one new that really fits my vibe, and then I just throw my whole emotion in and it helps me write. Like, and this one's great, man. Like this Sleeping Sirens,
music is my
I'm writing like crazy on it,
Yes.
which is cool.
Yeah.
like
To start the
love
day, to end the day, like I'm music all throughout the day. Are you like that, Evan?
No.
No, he's
No.
not.
that is like
You
it's a
shut-
huge
so-
thing for me.
He likes
after
he likes
the
to- hold
morning,
on, but this is the
you
weird
shut
thing.
it down?
You listen about Pete. He's a very knowledgeable guy. He wants information. Evan's like, and not to speak for
Yeah.
you, but he
Sure.
wants to absorb information. That's Evan. He's like consistently. Whereas like guys like you and I, we have this weird component where like we need, which is not fair to you because you're a very creative guy as well. But we have to put ourselves in a vibe to let our brains work. Where he always tries to absorb information, but it's a phenomenal relationship as a friend because I just like
Sure.
try to learn from him.
To break it down, like as a somebody who's in that creative space, I like it because it confuses my brain. So like I listen to it very loud. It's always very new, so it's something I've never heard of before. So that way, it's not something repetitive that I'm either singing.
It's called the
along
creative brain, brother. I love that.
Is it really?
Yeah, because
I
like
know
every
that.
time you listen to something, like even like take Eminem, his new album, I didn't really like it that much, but
I
even
hated it.
that song "Believe,"
Yeah.
like I hated it, but it was like, "Do you still believe?" And then all that, I was like, "Man, this is really fucking weird and lame." But certain points that my brain were firing, and I was like, "Okay, this reminds me of this song," and then I can do this, and like it gets your brain firing.
And your brain receives like inspiration from different
100%.
things. So yeah, for me personally, like that's me. Where it's all day long. A lot of that where when calls come in, I got to mute the thing, and or if I answer too quickly, they'll be like, "Jesus Christ, are you fucking raging over there?" It's like, no, it's not that. Like I would rather be my mind confused by it. So do you shut it off? Do you shut the music off at a certain point?
I've gone.
When is that during your day when it
No,
starts?
I've gone like literally weeks without music or.
I can't do it.
That's
Yeah,
scary.
I've gone
Same.
weeks without
Same.
music. I've gone weeks without like podcasts and radio because I'll listen to the news in the mornings. So I'll listen to the news. I'll listen to a podcast. I'll listen to like it sounds pretty fucking lame, but I actually listen to classical Indian meditation music, which not like we're talking about dot Indian, not feather Indian.
18th century Gregorian chant really gets me off.
But it really because of the rhythm. Because of the active meditation in the sense of like I can think through
really
something, and if I can think through something, because that's what I'm doing is I'm making lists and I'm actually trying to dive 4 layers deep on specific things. So then when I follow up with somebody, I can say, okay, these are the 4 things that I need from them within this specific topic.
I get that.
And if I don't do that, then I feel like if I miss a day of doing that, then I feel like I'm behind.
Right.
And so I have to actually put myself in that position. The only way I can do that is from 4:30, literally nobody's awake at that time.
No one.
My mind is like
I
fresh.
love it.
It's alive.
By the way, I go super late. Yeah, my writing and yours too.
Yeah, we're very late guys.
We're always up because, and everybody asks, "Oh, you're a night owl, or whatever." No,
I don't think people know that because Ross and I always text each other at like 11 p.m. midnight, and we're always like, "You up?" He's like, "What up?" And like that's when we fire because I'm like, I need that creative. I need to be like out of reality a little bit.
And I know that nobody's gonna hit me up, text me, call me like
other than me. Sorry,
I'm up or early in the morning. But that's the same way where it's just like, hey, nobody's calling you at 4:30 in the morning. Nobody's got a problem at 4:30 in the morning. Hey, you missed X, whatever that is. Like
it clears your space for your brain. And I think those are the most important times in your life, whether it's early or late, because there's no drama, right? You clear the needs, the wants of everybody else.
How many times?
It's soul of what you want in your life, and that's the most important thing.
You up? Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yep. All right, great.
And that's the way.
No, like,
that's
dude,
the way
like,
it is
if you
with all
look
of
at
us.
that's where like I'm a firm believer, like, where you drink at night and stuff, you escape reality. The reason I drink at night is to get away from every single problem that every person puts on me, right?
Throughout the day.
Right, because I want to be solely individual and I want to exist in my own fucking brain. And that's why I drink, because it puts me to sleep, because I have peace at mind. And I know that's like a weird thing to say, but it's the same thing of getting up very early in the morning.
I don't consider you an alcoholic.
No, but it's like...
But a lot of people would, where it's just like, all right, cool. Not you. Like, you just it's to chill out.
It's a method of creating your own like clean slate, right?
Yes.
You wipe the page, and I wipe the page happily, and like just like Evan does in the morning. I'm not a morning person because I fucking hate mornings. But like I clean my slate at night, same as you do, and how you
absolutely
every time we've written together, we wrote our book together.
Yep.
Like we stayed up super late, super quiet. You hear the rain hitting your fucking North Carolina beach house.
Yep.
It's just. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And I don't know, are you that way, Phil? Do you have like a happy medium of writing, or
when I'm writing, it's really focused. So like usually we don't go into the studio and I have a bunch of stuff written down, or there's some dudes out there that just are constantly writing. They're always coming up with ideas and little lyrics or whatever. I don't work that way. I usually don't do anything until we go in the studio. And there's only been one time where we wrote a record where we started with the lyrics. Our last one, we started with the vocals. Everything else has always been like riffs first and then the lyrics. So I kind of know where I'm going. And I'll sit down and I'll blast through. If I'm inspired in a song, I can blast through a song in 15 minutes if I kind of have an idea where I'm going and the song's fleshed out, and
sure.
I know if I know what the chorus is going to be, then sometimes I can blast through them real fast. Sometimes I'll sit there and I'll mess with one line and hate it the entire time that we're producing the record, getting it ready, and until I have to track that one line to finish that song, I'll never be happy with it. Or there's still songs where lines I'm like, I hate that line. I shouldn't have said that. I should have changed that. So it's one of those things where, for me, the inspiration kind of comes at like a spurt, and when I need to, because I don't want to sound like I don't have writer's block, or I've never experienced that, because I have. But there's kind of like a time where we write. And then there's a time where I don't worry about writing.
Right.
So
is there a song that the audience screams out during your show that you're like, oh, fuck, I hate that song?
Not that I hate no songs that I hate.
The writing process or anything else?
There's a lot of songs where I hated the writing process. There's a lot of songs where I hated coming up with it. There's a lot of songs where I hated actually writing the lyrics. There's a lot of that stuff. When it comes to like live stuff, it's the older songs. I'm usually kind of like, Well, I've played that one
2,000
times.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So for me, it's not so much. I'm usually more excited about playing newer songs because they're fresh and new and stuff. So
Who do you listen to outside of like?
Yeah, who do
Obviously,
you
your own. Who do you listen to? Man?
Who's your faves?
when I as far as heavy stuff goes, I like Bring Me the Horizon a lot. I like Five Finger Death Punch. As far as stuff that's not heavy, I'm probably
Do
the
you
biggest.
like Shadow Moses?
I do.
Shadow
I like
Moses.
Shadow Moses. I like
fan of Shadow
Simple. I like it Sempiternal. I like the new one. I'm a big fan. I think their progression is cool, going from deathcore into the kind of basically their Linkin Park without the rapper, which I think makes them better
pretty
than
much.
Linkin Park.
Yeah.
I'm not a super big fan of their.
No DJ.
Yeah,
Fuck
I mean they got a
Bring Me the
computer.
Horizon, and they're British. So
Yeah.
yeah.
If you could tour with one '80s hair band, who would it be?
Big fan of that question.
Guns N' Roses.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that one probably makes the most sense considering they're still out there printing money every time they play a
Every
show.
single night.
That's
And they
so legit.
Wrote one of the
Yeah.
greatest records of all time.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Two.
Appetite-
I love the first two. Chinese Democracy, I was spotty on, but
I
the
won't-
first two.
Right.
I won't split hairs about the greatness of the
Patience. Just a little patience.
I won't split hairs about any of that. I just know it's when you say that Appetite for Destruction is one of the greatest records.
Yes.
There's almost no one that says I disagree.
100%. That is in everybody's top 10. I would imagine.
Grunge era band. Who would you tour with?
Pantera.
Oh, shit! Yeah, that's
Because
a
the
great
thing about
answer.
the thing is, in the 90s, Pantera wasn't a grunge band. They were the only
Dude.
metal band in the 90s that were even remotely. Everything was underground. Everything was underground. It was Carcass and death metal, and that's all the stuff that I listened to in the early 90s when I was 18, 19, 20. That's what I was listening to Swedish metal bands and stuff like that. The only metal band that stayed really metal when grunge came in and screwed everything up was Pantera. So
huge fan. Huge fan,
one
dude.
of the greatest bands
All
ever.
right, who did you who out-partied you?
Personally,
Yes,
everybody.
Rockstar. Really?
Yeah, out parties, yeah. Out drinks, I don't know. I quit drinking this year.
Was there a famous rock star that shocked you where you were just like, oh Jesus, man, that guy's on a different level?
There's been a couple dudes where I've found out how much they drink, and I'm like, wow. Like, actually, he just recently passed away. Warrell Dane.
Sure.
For Nevermore.
Absolutely.
I used to sing for Nevermore. When I first heard stories about how much he did drink, and I'm not trying to slander the guy. I'm only saying things that I've heard. I'm not saying any of it's true or anything, but talking about the quantities that he drank. That was the first time that I heard about people that would drink, over a bottle in a day.
Right.
And then for a time in my life, I was one of those guys, and so I had to go ahead and
pump
on
the
them
brakes.
brakes there.
Pump the brakes a little
bit.
bit.
So
Pump the brakes.
But aside from like the big rock stars and big stories that you hear from the 80s when everyone was doing coke and everyone was acting like Guns N' Roses, after 2000 and stuff, the partying wasn't as out front for a while.
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah.
It did.
Like, oh fuck, we gotta go to.
But attitudes about
700
I miss the old school shit
Well,
where
in the
people were
late
just getting
90s,
fucked.
attitudes changed in the late 90s into the early aughts. Attitudes about partying and drinking had changed a little bit, and that the whole like extravagance about the 80s and stuff, and all the stuff that the grunge era kind of put the kibosh on, it was gone. It wasn't as cool to party, and then. Now there are some people that are picking up that torch, and asking actually does kind of come to mind when it comes to dudes that like to tie one on. But it was for a while, there wasn't a lot of bands that were open about how much they drank and stuff. And so to see one of the newer metal bands that, at least to me, to see that they were like drinking, like I said, like a bottle plus or whatever, it was shocking that they could do that. So. At least from my perspective.
I get it. Hey, look, moving from a guy who drinks a bottle a day to the drinking bro of the week.
Nice.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't make that
We'll get
segue,
to
but
that.
like, I kind of
I'll
fantasy.
do it.
I kind of want to go play some guitar with Phil. And,
No.
Because something about Phil,
I'll
real
do
quick.
it.
The first time I met, well, not first time, it was quite a bit times after, but he was just like, awesome lead singer, and then he whipped out the acoustic guitar and was like, and shredded, and I was like, my ninja.
Yeah. By the way,
he could pick that old six string.
We'll
I love
post
it.
a couple of the videos on our Drinkin' Bros IG stories, if you will. Shot Show 2018. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Phil.
Absolutely. Love you guys.
Our Drinkin' Bro of the Week is submitted by Corey Whites. He says, I'd like to nominate someone for Drinkin' Bro of the Week. His name is Matt Bellotti. We were stationed in Alaska together, and some of my best memories in the military were with him. On December 9th, he decided to take his own life. He was just 23 years old and truly a salt of the earth kind of guy. He wouldn't think twice about helping anyone out. He was a musician, and he was also an artist. We will forever miss him, and he has touched everyone who ever knew him. We love him, and we love what you guys do. Thank you very much. Corey White, thank you very much. Cheers, and sorry for your loss. Cheers. Cheers. Phil, truly one of the greatest shows we've ever had.
Oh, thanks.
Unbelievably interesting, dude. I didn't even get into how many people you fucked. Like,
Yeah, no. Hey, there's just one person he's kissed,
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, there's only one. There's only one that matters. There's only one that matters.
So, I'm sorry, Evan. I'm still loyal to you.
Matters. Yeah.
Exactly.
I have a past, Evan. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
He
have a
has
past.
a past.
He'll break your
I
heart
have a
again.
past, but you're my future.
Don't trust
okay?
him, Evan. He'll break your heart again.
Exactly. For Mr. Matt Best, our special guest, Phil Labonte, Jared Taylor, Evan Hafer, I am Ross Patterson. Good night, everyone.